Good morning, and thank you for joining our 15-minute Chassidus Shir. Today's Shir is sponsored by Rabbi Rabin in honor of the 15-minute Shir Chassidus itself. Thank you, Mendy. If you'd like to donate or dedicate a Shir in honor of someone for a special occasion, you can do so online at rabbirabin.com. We are holding in the Maimah Vata Tetzaveh, Tovshin Mem Aleph, Ois Daled. In this ois, the Rebbe is going to contrast the major difference that there was in the Yidden's Aveda between Matan Torah and at the time of Purim. We're going to see the Frierdiker Rebbe uses a posik from the Megillah, which is similar to the Teichen of the Gemara Shabbos, in that by Matan Torah was the beginning of the Aveda of Yidden, and then by Purim that was the conclusion where they cemented their relationship with Hashem. And the Frierdiker Rebbe asks in his mimer that's a pella, it's a wonder, and that word pella is an unusual word. Usually in Chassidus you use the word ein tzarich lahavin. You got to understand. He says it's a pella, and the pella is that the Yidden were on a tremendously high level and felt close to Hashem at the time of Matan Torah, and at the time of Purim, they felt extremely low, in some ways forlorn from and lost from Hashem. So how can you say that at Purim was the time when they actually clinched their relationship on a much deeper level than there was by Matan Torah? We'll see that the answer is because by Purim that they had Mesiras Nefesh. And that relates back to, as we said, that the Mordechai in his generation was the same as Moshe in his generation, Special Shabbos with the Moshe, and so he was able to help them bring out from within themselves this unique koyach of Mesiras Nefesh coming from the etzem of the neshama, from the ma'ir of the neshama. Perek Daled. V'hinei bir b'posik v'adet tetzaveh. This pasuk Vadatetzavet, which is our mimer here, the Rebbe's mimer, in the Frierdiker Rebbe's mimer, it comes in continuation in the middle of the mimer, where he speaks about the Pirush Kibel HaYehudim Eis Eichelu Lasos. That his mimer on Purim Cotton was based on these psukim from the Megillah. That it says V'Kibel HaYehudim, the Yidden accepted upon themselves Eis Eichelu Lasos. This is what they began, and he explains Shu Kiblu Ma Sheheichelu BeHazman de Matan Torah. They accepted upon themselves this that they began by Matan Torah. That is to say, the Matan Torah Hoisa Haschala Heichelu Lasos. Matan Torah was the beginning where they began their avodas Hashem, began to connect to Hashem, began their service as Yidden. And of Mei Achashverosh Bisman Gzeiras Haman Hoisa Kabbalah V'Kibel HaYehudim. At the time of Gzeiras Haman and Purim with Achashverosh, this was the Kabbalah. So the pasuk is saying Kibel HaYehudim at the time of Purim. This the Haschola Heichalu. This that they began by Matan Torah. It was the Kabbalah, the fulfillment and the full acceptance of what they began by Matan Torah. Al derech Maimer Azal al pasuk, similar to what the Gemara says on the pasuk Kimu v'Kiblu HaYehudim. They established and made steadfast, and the Kimu v'Kiblu, they were Mekayim and they accepted upon themselves. Kimu, they established and made steadfast. Mashe Kiblu Kfar, this that they accept upon themselves earlier. What did they accept upon themselves earlier? This that the Yidden said Nas v'Nishma by Matan Torah. This was only the Kabbalah, only the acceptance. In other words, the beginning, the Kibul, the Kabbalah, the acceptance. There was well established what they had accepted upon themselves earlier. So this drasha of the Frierdiker Rebbe is in tune and matches this that the Gemara says as well. And we're going to see later in the Maimer that there were two stages in this, how the Yidden accepted upon themselves this. We began by Matan Torah. One was at the time of the Gzeira, and the second was after the Nes of Purim. We'll see that later in the Maimer. Medayik b'hamaimer, and the Friedrich Rez Medayik in the Maimer Shalochera Hudava Pellet. This is a wonder. The Matan Torah HaYisrael B'Tachlis Ha'iloi. The Yidden at the time of Matan Torah were on the highest level, extremely elevated. V'Haya Oz Etzam Gili Elokos B'Darga Hachinailis. They had a revelation of godliness on the highest levels at Matan Torah, and this itself was a crescendo. The noise of Shigam Koiten Matan Torah Haya Giluyim Nala B'Yoser. In addition to that, before Matan Torah, there were extremely great revelations of Hashem. The Gilui Shahoyu Yitzias Mitzrayim, but Frakrias Yamsuf. You had the Yitzias Mitzrayim, you had the Makkos of Yitzias Mitzrayim, where Hashem showed up in Mitzrayim and destroyed the strength of all of the clip and the negativity that there was in Mitzrayim. Coming out of Mitzrayim with tremendous miracles, with the Yidden were all gathered together and left as they did. And then by Kriyas Yamsuf, that it says that the Gemara, that a maid servant, the Kriyas Yamsuf, had a greater connection and revelation of godliness was to her than the Navi, the greatest Nevi'im. So you had this closeness to Hashem, and the revelations of Hashem to the Yidden was extremely powerful. So you had Yitzias Mitzrayim, Kriyas Yamsuf, Hine Hagili Shahoy B'Shas Matan Torah, Hayagili Naila Oidyoser. This that was revealed to the Yidden by Matan Torah was even a greater revelation of Hashem's presence as Hashem's being. That they all felt this closeness to Hashem to the extent that the Neshamas left. This was and the whole world had become now a new world penetrated with the Gili Elokus. So the Yidden felt this closeness. They were uplifted tremendously, above everything, any aspect of worldliness. So that was Matan Torah. Obiyamei Achashverosh HaYisrael B'Tachlis Yerida. And then it was a total opposite, the contrary. The times of Achashverosh, the Yidden were at the lowest level. The noise of Lahel and Vahester Shebachol Golos. In addition to, it was Golos. And there's a hiddenness of Hashem, and therefore, if there's a hiddenness of Hashem, Yidden don't feel the closest to Hashem, and they feel more part of their part of the world, and problems come from that. And every Golos is like that. The Kol Golos, Ubedunkus Golos Mitzrayim. Every Golos is similar to Golos Mitzrayim, because Mitzrayim, because they put a maitzer, they give stifle the Yidden and put them in straits, not being able to serve Hashem properly. That's what's called Mitzrayim, straits and narrows. Ukimoshe begolos Mitzrayim, Siva by Mitzrayim. It was a tremendous golos. V'loi shomo el Moshe mikoytze ruch maveda kosher. The Yidden weren't able to hear Moshe. Hear the message that Moshe wanted to give them. There's going to be Geula because of the shortness of breath and the tremendously hard work. And that was by Mitzrayim. Because they were so trapped in the golus, in the mentality that they were locked into this servitude, there was no place in their minds and hearts. They could be free of this to be able to serve Hashem. So that was by Golus Mitzrayim. And all Golus, every Golus has an aspect of this within it too. Al der zeba kol Golus. That in every Golus, sheyeshnam kama nisyonos bekima Torah mitzvahs. There are many challenges and tests for a Yid to keep Torah mitzvahs in every Golus. And that's what it means, Golus. Golus is the opposite of Geula. Geula was coming out of Mitzrayim by Matan Torah, when we had the base of Mikdash. That was a time where godliness was revealed. It was clear that Hashem is the creator. It's clear there's nothing but Hashem in the world of importance, and therefore every Yid had a tremendous motivation to learn Torah and do mitzvahs. Times of Golus, it's hidden, and so then it becomes difficult. Their there from the Golus Mitzrayim, all the other Golusim we've had, there are challenges, and in Yondim that hold us back, or that try to hold us back from learning Torah and doing mitzvahs. That's every Golus. That's not just the mentality of Golus. That's a situation that we find ourselves in Golus where things are difficult to do, and so therefore Yidden can feel maybe Hashem has forgotten about us. Hashem is not with us. We don't have that close relationship with Hashem that we had when we came out of Mitzrayim. Then it was clear. Everybody felt it. The time of Golus is much harder to have that mindset and harder to feel it. So that's in any type of Golus. The hiddenness of Hashem at the time of the Xeris Haman was much more, because then he wanted to destroy Yid, every single Yid, on and men, women, and children on one day, and Achashverosh ruled over the whole world. There was no escape, and so that is an extremely a feeling of despondency, of helplessness, of not being proud of being Yid and wanting to and feeling the relationship with Hashem, an extremely low feeling. They're totally opposite of the uplifted feeling Yidden had by Matan Torah. They were on top of the world, and here they were at the bottom. Nevertheless, Matan Torah, when Kishahar Yisrael betachlis ha'iloi, when the Yidden were on the highest level, that was only the beginning. He said it was the beginning. And at the time of Xeris Haman, when the Yidden were on the lowest level in their feeling of closeness and relationship to Hashem, is Ozdavka. That's when the Torah says Kiblu Mash Eichelu Ben Matan Torah. That's when they accepted upon themselves fully what they began by Matan Torah. So there has to be some special dynamic of what's going on inside the Yidden, that at the time of the Gzeira, where they don't feel that closest to Hashem, Hashem is not shining through in a way that to tell them, you're precious, you are my special nation. We have a unique bond and relationship that's shining through. On the contrary, by Gzeira Haman, it would be very understandable. Yidden would feel Hashem has forgotten about us. Not only that we can't be of value because Haman wants to get rid of us all. So how can you say this relationship that the Yidden had with Hashem? We're your team. We're on your team. We're your nation. We're bonded to you. You're bonded to us. We're united as one Inyan, one nation with one Hashem, and we're united. How is it possible that by the Matan Torah was only the beginning, and here by Purim, that says here, now we're really yours, Hashem. How so? So Mavar Bezer, and the Friedrich Rebbe explains the Bezman Ha'Gzeira Hayakim HaTorah Mitzvah Shalahem BeMesiras Nefesh. That was when they had Mesiras Nefesh. Mesiras Nefesh was that was revealed, that came out at the time of Purim, which was unique. At the time of Matan Torah, their love for Hashem was shining through. That was what was special. At the time of Purim, where Hashem's love wasn't shining upon the Yidden, therefore it didn't trigger within the Yidden their love as reciprocal love to Hashem. How were they attached to Hashem? With Mesiras Nefesh. Mesiras Nefesh comes from a different aspect of the neshama and a deeper aspect of the neshama than their love for Hashem that they experienced earlier. We'll stop here for today. We'll continue tomorrow. In Mr. Hashem, thanks for joining everyone and have a great day.